What's going on, beautiful people? It's day 2 of the ultra budget aquarium build. Today we're going to be fitting the light and we're going to be doing the full substrate system and hardscape as well. I really want to crack on. I hate seeing empty tanks. I'm like, I want to do something in it. But it'd be rubbish if we didn't have a light. So in keeping with the budget theme, I'm going to revert to what I used to do when I couldn't afford anything for this hobby, and that is use LED floodlights. Here we go, here is our LED floodlight, IP66, which means dust tight and, you know, sealed from powerful water jets. I wouldn't recommend dropping it in the water. But I tell you what, these have come on a long way since I used to do it. It's much smaller than it used to be, and it's incredibly lightweight as well. So, first thing we need to do is make a bracket for it. Now we want it to sit about that high above the aquarium, and then you'll get a full spread, and it won't be just like a point light, which can work really well actually in certain aquariums. If you had like 2 on there, you'd need to go down a wattage if you wanted to do 2, because that would be way too powerful, you just get algae. So I need to build a piece of wood upwards and across that we can fix this to, and it will sit nicely. So what I've done is made a line all the way down the wood, because I just feel like this piece is just a little bit too thick to be, you know, a bracket for the light. I'm going to use the saw and cut it all the way down the line to make it a bit thinner. I just think it'll look a bit better. And I'm going to do it in this really janky bench thing I've set up here. Wish me luck. Do not recommend that you cut wood like I just did. Get some sort of workbench. There we go. All that's left to do now is either paint it all black if you want, or we could stain the upright to match the bottom, which might look quite smart, but to be honest, I don't really want to draw too much attention to it. I think what I'm going to do is wrap pothos and have some plants coming out of the water to cover it up anyway. So yeah, I think I'll just go with all black, so it sort of hides it a little bit, you know, the eye isn't drawn to it. Yeah, I probably should have done that before I fixed it on, but I forgot, okay? So I'll do it now. There we go, looking pretty smart. Still a little bit drying to do, but no, painting things black is really good for hiding any very poor joinery skills. So when you step back, look, you notice it because of the white in the back, but once we've got some pothos and things all go over the top, it'll be great. But it's now time to fit the floodlight, and as you can see, it's only got like a little bit of wire. It's designed to go on a wall or something outside, so you have to feed stuff up to it, then join it. So what I've got is lots of 3-core wire here, more than I need, so I can extend that with some joiner boxes, got proper joiner boxes, electrical tape, that sort of thing, and then a plug at the end with the correct fuse. Now, I'm not a qualified electrician, I'm not going to show you how to do this. If you want to know how to do this, look for an electrical YouTube channel. It is pretty simple, but yeah, I don't want to get sued or anything. We have light. Now the thing is now, obviously I'm going to put this on properly and tidy all the wires, but have we got too much light? No? I normally do like a little hand test. Yeah, that is absolutely perfect. I mean, a way around having this so tall is having it shorter with smaller watt LED, but then you get less spread as well, whereas right now I'm getting full coverage. So that's good. Plus the Pophos is going to look good. There we go, cabling is a bit janky there. I was gonna buy some little clips that you tack in and like holds it neatly, but that's an extra cost. And we've already got the electrical tape from the wiring kit that I got, so I might as well use it, it ties in. You can see it obviously now, but you won't. And I've cleared a really nice space here next to the jungle aquarium and the fish wall. I just think it'll look really smart in this area with a white background. It'll stand out really nicely and neatly against it. Now I'm thinking I can just move this all as one, it should be okay. Yep, fine. And we should just slot in here nicely. And then just plug in the light. Oh yes, that is looking good. And you know what that means? We can start scaping. Oh, don't worry, I'll turn off the lights and things on the side because those reflections are very annoying. But what a little setup, look. It looks tidy, neat. And the light, when it's like against the wall like that, doesn't look too intrusive or anything. Oh, it's turned out great. Right, look at that. Boom. So in keeping with this build being ultra budget, I'm going to be doing a no filter setup here. So the actual filtration is going to take place in the substrate system. So this is important. If we get this right, we get the whole thing right. Now there's loads of ways to create a substrate system, and over the years I've developed and tweaked, refined, and I'm at a point now where I can get it to work really, really well. It's still never going to be perfect. I'm sure there's other things you can do as well, but the method I'm going to show you is probably the most simple, easiest and cost-effective way of doing it. If you have any old Aquasaur laying around or anything like that, chuck that in as well, because why not? More is better. But if not, I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch and try and keep it as minimal cost as possible with enough nutrients for the plant roots to just thrive. So what I've got here is a load of gravel, not too coarse, and also a bag of aquatic compost or pond soil. Basically it's like normal compost, but it's had some of the organics removed. You can just use regular compost as well if you want, just get the organic kind without the sort of fertilizer additives, and just use a bit less of it because it's quite potent. But basically I'm mixing that with the gravel, and what that's going to do is create the perfect base layer and our like nutrient zone, if you like, and this is where the roots will try and sort of grow to. Now the reason that I've added in the gravel as well is to just sort of stop all of that aquatic pond soil just like compressing and becoming like a gross impermeable sludge. Doing it this way seems to like allow the water still be able to flow, in inverted commas, all the way through the substrate system and not just create this like dead zone. And I actually quite like a nice clean foreground to it where we can then taper the sand that's going to cap this up from. So just pull it back a little bit and flick back any big stones. That's going to give us like a nice clean foreground. Stuff will inevitably get pushed forwards anyway, but hopefully it won't with all of this being capped. Now I know there's going to be a little bit of a question mark as to how much compost you use, so I tend to go for a 50-50 split with the stone and gravel, and as you can see by the side there, I've only built it up that far, about an inch at the back, and then it tapers all the way to the front. For me, this is enough. If we use more, we can get faster growth, but I do find that there's a little bit more algae as well, so make of that what you will. But there is definitely enough nutrients in all of this for our roots to be able to find some and grow well. So that's the basic nutrient set. Now we need to cap over the top of all of that, otherwise all of that compost is just going to leach into the water column. And we don't want this because it can cause algae. If there's high amounts of nutrients in the water column, the algae can feed off it and just multiply, and it multiplies fast. So we need to lock it down. Now the sand I'm using for this is a pool filter sand. It's some of the cheapest stuff you can buy. I think in America you can buy it in like, you know, hardware stores and stuff. I just ordered mine online. I got a massive bag of it, way more than I need for this setup, and I've got some left. I'm going to start off though by sprinkling it in that front corner, just to make sure that all those nutrients don't get pushed forwards and it'll just lock them down. And then I can just start to build it up behind it from there. We will press all this down in a minute as well, just to make sure it's nice and solid. And that'll definitely lock the lot. I'm going to go for about another inch on top of everywhere, tapered back, and that should be enough. Now the good thing is with this is that if you find that you didn't put enough nutrients in, the plants aren't growing quite as fast as you want or expected, you can add in root tabs quite easily. All you got to do is use a pair of tweezers when the water is obviously in there at a later date and just push it right deep down into the sand. You buy a pack of them, you know, you're going to spread over the size of this aquarium quite easily. It's an added cost that I'm not going to do now because I think what we've done is enough. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's enough. But you might find that perhaps the compost you got, the specific brand, didn't have as much nutrients or whatever. It's a little bit of a guessing game, of course, because all compost is different. I'm saying compost, what I mean is like potting soil. I think Miracle Grow do a potting soil that's it's like fully organic. I'm sure there's other brands available as well. So you've got to do a little bit of research. But again, you might find the plants aren't growing as fast as you want. So just stick some root tabs down there. That'll take care of it all. Boom, we have got a perfect start there. What's great about the sand like this as well is that you can just push stones and wood into it and it's going to stay put, not like fall all over. You know, if you just put it straight on glass. So it's hardscape time. Now, in keeping with the theme of keeping it ultra budget, I'm not going to go and pack this out with a ton of serious stone and like real special wood or anything like that. That's not the goal here. Obviously I can do that. I've got all the stuff around me. We're keeping it ultra budget. So I'm going to try and use only 2 pieces of hardscape. So this is my hardscape section. As you can see, we've got quite a lot to choose from. So this is going to be a, oh, what's that doing there? So seeing as this is going to be a filterless aquarium, also we're going for minimal maintenance as well, so we don't want a ton of water changes. We want some wood and rocks. It's not going to change the water chemistry too much. My water at the tap is a pH of 7. I would like to keep it that way. So with that in mind, I'm not going to use anything like Cereal stone or elderly stone because that just does raise the pH a little bit, which makes plant growing a lot more difficult. And I know that pebbles definitely don't. I mean, that pebble, it's quite cool. It's got something on it though. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's glue. It's glue that's dripped down. I can get that off, maybe. Actually, no, that one's better. Ah, yes. I like that. That's a nice, it's round, it's ridiculous. How can you make escape out of that? Let's try that. And then wood-wise, this is stuff I've used before in tanks, so it's not gonna leach a ton of tannins and things. I mean, that's quite good. A little bit bigger, I think will be okay. It is a 60 centimeter tank, that's quite cool. Oh, that's quite nice. That's already got a good shape. We could definitely use that, I reckon. So given that this piece of wood has like this larger piece this side, it tends to, you know, lend itself quite well to sitting somewhere like there, I reckon. Just push that in. There we go, just off center, that looks really good. And then we can just put the rock the other side. It's gonna look odd. If I can make this work with plants, I'll be happy. Let's go for it. This piece, this side, there. I think why not, just separate them. It looks kind of stupid, but I quite like that. Now you can get pebbles and things like this from garden centers quite easy. You can get them from the wild as well, technically not legal, unless the landowner has given you permission, I guess. But a nice piece of wood like this, it's gonna retail for about, I reckon that would be about £25, $35, something around that mark. So yeah, not crazy money. It depends again what shop you go on, because some of them do them by weight, and this kind of wood, this spider wood, doesn't weigh a lot. So I have been shops before and got a piece of wood like this for as little as like £10. So, you know, $15. Again, it depends where you go. If you are on a tight budget, you can shop around and travel. I mean, that's going to cost fuel, so at that point it's probably better just to get the wood. So now we have an option. You can either add a little bit of scatter gravel or detail gravel, as it's also known, around all the pieces of around the 2 pieces of hardscape there. If you've got some stuff laying around, like stuff from using gravel in a garden or something like that, you can use. But you do need to be aware, don't use anything that's got limestone in it. It will raise the pH. It just makes it much harder to grow plants. In fact, I've just done a test of some of this stuff I got here from the garden centre, because it looks completely okay, right? But there is actually very small pieces of limestone in it, and as a result, it raises the pH. Now I know this because I've just done a little experiment. I've basically got that gravel in here. You can see, well, you can't even see, look, because that's what it does to the water even after you clean it. Then I've just got some other sort of pieces, some darker pieces of pebbles and stuff, and I've got some sand as well I got from a builder's merchant. And basically I tested each and every one of them. These 2 are coming up pretty much bang on a pH of 7, which is the same as my tap water. This one goes up to like 7.6, and that's after I cleaned the gravel, made the water run clear, filled it back up again and sort of scruffled it around a bit like what some of the fish would do. 7.6. And that is the gravel, sorry about the reflections, but I'm just showing you quickly, that I used in this tank, all in the back section. And as a result, this has been one of the poorest tanks for growing plants. All those ones you can see in there, the crypts, for instance, I've recently just put them in here from another tank. Crypts do tend to grow well in a higher pH though, as does Blixa japonica, it seems. But all of my stem plants and my foreground plants, they just snap away at the stem, which goes brittle. So yeah, it's an example of pH not being good. Look how gorgeous he looks. Oh, also, whilst I'm here, we just spotted one of the male blue acaras, actually one of the babies from a previous batch, acting a bit strange. I said, if they got baby Steph, there'll be like a little pit at the back. He said, there's a pit. And then just as he said that, he looked right back. Look at that on the background wall. Oh, we're going to struggle. There we go. Loads and loads of babies swimming around with mama. Awesome. So yeah, anyway, these decoration pebbles here, from a garden centre as well. Got loads of them in here. I'm going to use those because I had them laying around. So technically they're free, but I'm sure you can get a pack of something very small for very cheap. Again though, if you're on a massive budget, even this isn't required. I'm just adding a couple little bits dotted around for details. And it's not going to really change anything in terms of like the tank itself and the parameters or anything really at all. It's purely for decoration, and I'm hoping actually that a load of the plants will completely grow into it all. It gives it a bit more of an interesting look here to start with. A couple little sections of it. Maybe another little one out here somewhere. Quite cute, a little bit different. I have been known in the past just to put it near like the hardscape just itself, but sometimes it's quite nice to make these little pockets of it. Get that one away from the glass. Nice. Now the only issue I can foresee is that this piece of wood will float. So just find a rock, any rock, doesn't matter what it looks like, and I'm just going to glue it to the back edge at the bottom there. And you want to get yourself a little pot of super glue gel. These things cost next to nothing, a few pound, that's it. And you can buy them in big blister packs as well, that's what I did. And it keeps the cost down, but individually they're very cheap as well. And it's super glue gel. Pick that up carefully, look. I can see exactly where I put it. It's super glue gel, and that means that it doesn't run and drip everywhere. It stays in contact with the 2 points. So I've got my rock, look, and you're going to see it if I put it there. So I'm coming around the back, and there you go. You can't see it from the front area, but there is like a little point here all the way up where I can stick the glue and then just press it together. Give it 24 hours to dry properly. I've got a spray that I can spray on it as well to speed it up because I'm making videos for you guys, but there's no need to do that. You just take your time, again, keeping costs lower. Yeah, so I've got this really thick contact point here, and I've got another one on this side as well. More contact points you can get, the better it's going to stick. There we go. Assume 24 hours later, it's all stuck. And then we can just place it in exactly where it was, because I've seen the indents there, the sand. Et voila. That's French, Stefan.
Oui.
Et voila. So there we go then, that is it for this video, mainly because I'm waiting for my plants to arrive. I'm not going to be buying an absolute ton like I usually do, but I have deliberately saved a ton of money in all of this build so I can spend the majority of the budget on the plants, because they're the things going to make this work so well. But I have still restrained myself and making it a realistic budget, something that you guys might want to spend. But no doubt it'll all grow in, take the trimmings, replant, it's going to look great. Next episode, we're planting, filling up, getting it clear, and then possibly adding our fish as well. I think it's a good idea to get the cycle going with a few fish to start with, so we'll definitely be doing that. See you on the next video.